Hi there. Reverend Monica Driscoll with Unity Spiritual Center near the Villages. And this is the January Center update. And for those of you that may not have noticed, is the board's doing an update every month. We call it the board update. I did a community update a few days ago. Hope you watched that. And the center update is specifically geared toward the mission and our process of transforming lives. And so we wanted you to have the update. So currently, we're obviously still in a pandemic state. So it kind of slows things down a little bit, but not too much. Not too much. We're still getting a lot of things done behind the scenes. So what we know is that sometime in the late fall, we will probably be inviting Dr. Gary Simmons to join us for a long extended weekend as part of our coaching program. And he'll be doing a specific activity that we hope all of you will join in on. And we'll hear more about that, but that probably November. And again, it depends on where we are with the COVID-19 virus. So we'll see how it lends itself. But that is on the hopper to do. The other thing is that I'm going to be teaching a class uh, early spring, middle of spring, called You Can't Sleep Through Your Awakening. And this particular material is a precursor to the Q process. So I know some of you have taken the Q process, and our objective, big picture, is to have everyone been given the opportunity to take the Q process. Now, the Q process is about shadow work. Now, what is shadow work? Shadow work is those things that are gray in our consciousness that we're not real clear about why. And so, as much as Charles and Myrtle Fillmore taught the unity principles, the one thing they didn't ever address is shadow work. And that's not because they probably didn't want to, but when you're teaching a community something brand new, you can only handle so much data. And that's kind of where we are now, because over the last 200 years, more and more work is being done on the shadow side of our personality and our spirituality. So the Q process is about that. So You Can't Sleep Through Your Awakening is a wonderful beginning process for us to take a look at our shadows, the things that hold us back from having a fuller expression of the Christ light that's within us, the things that hold us back from having that wonderful experience of God in our lives. So, more's coming on that. We also have our annual meeting. Now, in the annual meeting, we're going to elect at least one new board member. And we have another board member that jumped on a few months back, Claire Ryan. And so it is time to do another board training. And I hope to do these every year because the more and more people understand the role of the board and what it is we're trying to achieve, the less conflict there is. And there's a lot less parking lot talk. And now that the job descriptions are completely in place for each of the positions on the board, it's time to do a board training. So we're probably going to have that in May, either March, early April. And so watch your calendar for that because it'll be a half day and everyone is invited. We're an all-inclusive community. We have no hidden agendas, nothing underneath the carpeting, at least nothing that I'm aware of. And so we're going to be able to express to those that want to, what is the purpose of the board and what does each position do, in addition to talking about our progress within Mission Centric and what's coming down the pike. So, I hope you'll join us for that. So keep your ears and eyes open for the calendar when that happens. And also, part of what we're going through in this mission centric culture, and thanks to the pandemic, because there is always good in every situation. And the pandemic has caused us to really concentrate and think about how do we get this information that we're doing out into the digital world. So, as I mentioned in the community update, we're moving in that direction and rather quickly. And with that in mind, we have a spiritual enrichment education class coming up. That's also abbreviated SEE. Now, in order to become a licensed Unity teacher, you have to take X number of classes and seminars and all these things that you have to accomplish before you can be considered to become a licensed teacher. So our two licensed Unity teachers, Carla Knack and Denny Ralston, will be conducting our first and probably of many SEE classes offered online. So this class is going to be opened up to everyone out in the world, and anybody who wants to pick this class up, and it's going to be on self-care. And so if you're interested in that, and you don't have to take it for credit, but if you do, it's one less class you have to take later should your life evolve into you becoming a licensed Unity teacher, which is how I got started in the ministry, was taking all those many, many classes. So it's never too late to get beginning on that. And so you'll hear more about that. And we're going to be testing out the digital community for our teaching processes. And as you know, we're doing spirit groups by Zoom. It's going very, very well with spirit groups. We're still handling, those of you that know the terminology, we're still managing the 5 C's that are within that process, which was the objective, to be able to give back to the community, to have a little bit of fun, and to be spiritually enlightened. So we are processing ourselves through that. So please don't hesitate to jump in on any of the spirit groups, as well as the Q process coming up. And we'll start with You Can't Sleep Through Your Awakening by Jane Simmons. So if you want to get a handle on that book, and it also has a workbook with it. So jump in on that. Well, that's it for the center update. I hope that if you have any questions, you'll contact a board member or myself, and we'll get your questions answered. And Godspeed as we go through this wonderful process of finding a closer relationship with God. And so it is. Amen.